Let's go, Joel. Yeah? Oh! Oh, fuck. Are you good? Are you good? Just lie down.
Alright, you ready?
I am so ready. Are you ready?
No, this is so weird. This is so weird for me. For me, I've been thinking about this conversation since about 6 months. Civic.
Actually, wait. Do we not need to clap this thing up?
Oi! 3,
2,
2, 1. So, France happened a few days before. Not going to go into too much detail about that. But long story short, went on a solo trip to France to do something, went very wrong, and had a very bad time. Yeah.
Like, how was your headspace coming off the back of France?
I was so fucked. I say it in another section of the film, but I was completely running off emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Not running logically.
it was no logic involved.
When did you know you'd fucked it?
As soon as I took off, I knew I wanted to do it that day. I'd woken up, you know when you wake up and you have an idea in your head of I'm going to do this today. It was the first time I'd ever done a curved run up.
Fucking hell.
I've been watching the footage back recently on my camera and I'm rushing into absolutely everything. I'm not calming myself down at all. The one where I actually go, I said to myself in my head, it does not matter what happens, you're doing it on this one. Because in my head it was just like, it's better to do it and mess it up slightly than to back away.
Do you remember kicking your foot?
No, I didn't know what had happened. I remember taking off and realising something's gone seriously wrong here. And then I just remember twisting round and just seeing my head going right at the slab. And I remember thinking, okay, you need to get your hands out so you don't hit your head. I remember when it happened, I wanted to not make it a big deal. And I remember wanting to be like, it's not a big of a deal, it's I'll be fine. Because I was fucking embarrassed. Again, all the way to A&E, I was just like, why the fuck did I do that?
Because then you'd realise that what you'd done was absolutely stupid.
It was fucking ridiculous. I want to say no one in their right mind would do it, but I wasn't in my right mind.
You literally were. You come off one of the worst couple of days of your life. You were just hunting for something to make you happy.
Why is it called a hospital?
Well, you've got obviously the art and post popping off.
Yeah.
That was like the rush of, oh my god. Yeah. Look at all the numbers.
Negative.
Yeah, so that was the thing. It was my first like proper experience of having hate. It was the closest thing I've had to being viral. And obviously the more eyes you get on it, the more opinions you get.
Yep. And not all of them are good.
And not all of them are good. And I remember it was like I hadn't liked or replied to anything on any of the accounts because I just wanted to be silent about the whole thing because I was embarrassed. There was one comment and I was just like, it really pissed me off. And so I replied to it and I realised when I replied to it, I was like, oh, that's really got to me. With everything on Instagram, you scroll through, maybe you like it, maybe you comment, maybe you share it. Either way, you forget about it 10 seconds later. Yeah. It doesn't matter, like no one has thought about Civic as much as I have because it was me.
Was there a point in time before this whole thing came about where you're like, I regret putting that online? When the hate comments.
Yeah, I mean...
Because you got messages as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And that was the thing. I had one comment which really got to me. And then the private stuff happened, and I was just kind of like, I didn't like interact with them at all, apart from looking at them. And that was just kind of like, that one affected me a lot more, because that was people going out their way to making sure I've seen something, and making sure that they know that I've seen whatever their opinion was of it.
That's people going up the way trying to hurt you.
Yeah. I just don't think I'm ever gonna be back to the level I was. To the point where I can do something like civic again. I just don't think I'm ever gonna be there. I can't stop thinking about that fact that I shouldn't have done it. It just really hurts. I don't quite know how to live with it. Life just doesn't feel good. It feels just like I'm trapped in a cage, and I'm screaming to get let out, and I can't break out. After one night when I got a particularly bad message, I remember waking up and saying, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do this." Yeah. But I don't feel like I was saying it to the person.
You're saying it to yourself.
I feel like I was saying it to myself, because I said it out loud. Literally woke up and said that. Yeah. And I feel like I was talking to myself, because I feel like I'd lost so much confidence. And I got to the point where around the May, June time, I was like, okay, I need to sort my life out. I'm gonna sort my diet out. I'm gonna make a conscious choice to go to physio and work out what's going on in my body, instead of just hoping it'll fix itself. And I'm just gonna take initiative in my life to make sure I'm okay, because no one's gonna do it for me. If I'm ever gonna get out of this suicidal slump that I've been in for 4 years at that point, up and down, I need to take control of my life. And so I started taking filmmaking more seriously. I started eating well, drinking well, exercising, like going to the gym and stuff properly, instead of just for the sake of saying I was going to the gym. And just making sure that I'm giving myself the best chance of coming out of this. Which included getting out of social media a bit.
And you smile when you dive in, like you're never coming back. So hold my body, yeah, hold my breath. See your face when I black out, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, so getting back was nice. And I knew I was gunning to do it again, but I wasn't thinking about doing it anytime soon. And then NEPK Jam came up. I was just kind of having a bit of fun, and it was nice, because like I felt like I was just like getting back to it. And then we ended up going to a spot I'd never been to before, Blackfriars, and I looked at the gap and I was just like, oh, I would love to 360 that. And then I did some like decent 360s. My leg wasn't hurting, nothing was really hurting, and I was like, I could actually do this right now. I started listening to the song, and I was just kind of like, I'm kind of just ready. I don't really feel like nerves really. I just feel like I feel pretty calm, and I'm just kind of ready to go. I was like, all right, walked back, took a couple of breaths, and just went and did it. And it was like, didn't feel any pressure on it. I just felt like this is something,
Found your process.
it felt natural. It was a glimpse of like, oh my fucking God, I can really get back to doing it again. Yeah. And I was just really happy. And I didn't need anything else. I was happy to just exist. And then so a week or two later, when we found out we were going to Civic because Dan was going to flip it, I was like, I should probably look at this.
He is as well.
How's it feel, Joel?
I just know that when I did it for the first time, I was completely running off emotions. And I don't want to be at the same point of being like, you fucked it up last time, you got to get redemption, so you have to do it. Yeah. I want to do it when it's like, okay, you should do it now. Yeah. It felt okay, like I could see it, but I was still just kind of like, it doesn't feel right. Like I know I could probably do it, but it doesn't feel right.
Probably isn't good enough.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of like, at that point I was like, okay, I think I'm nearly there. I was still battling a lot. I knew if I was doing it, it'd have to be 100% and it'd have to feel easy. And then, a bit later down the line, I'd looked at the Travelodge gap and thought, I've jumped that and it's fairly easy and I know I can do that distance.
Yes. Come on.
A couple of days after that, I messaged you, being like, I think I'm ready.
Pasted. Oh, that was beautiful. Liquidation. Breezed. Breezed, mate.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, mate. Hello.
I'm at that stage now
Yeah.
where I need to just do it.
fucking, that's what I call redemption, mate.
And the difference between the time when I messed it up and the time when I did it is I remember absolutely everything.
And you didn't kick your foot.
And I didn't kick my foot. I don't quite know how to explain that feeling of having it done. It felt like 6 or 7 months of pain just came out in that celebration. Yeah, I think I've learned a lot more about myself.
Yeah.
And it means that I can go through life a bit easier now because I understand myself better.
Yeah.
In general, this whole year has been so good for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate what happened for 6 to 7 months of it,
It's definitely shaped you as a person.
and
Definitely a much different person now.
I think so. There was a quote I saw during my just before my time off, which really helped, which was, "It'll always be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end." And that's always stuck with me, I think.
I don't wanna live life fast or die too young. Die too young. 100 miles per hour, I might crash cause the good die young. Yeah, the good die young. Push it to the limit, we can't go no more.